Hello and welcome to Americans Learn. My name is Lauren and today we're looking at another Casual Geographic video. This is what happened to the murder hornets and why cows eat snakes. I do apologize if the audio is a little bit wonky. We are still kind of in the process of rebuilding the system after everything happened. So I apologize once again. But I'm looking forward to this. I do remember the murder hornets. I remember that being a joke that we made a lot of. It's like, the actual apocalypse. And then the murder hornets disappeared. And so then there was a lot of jokes about how they went into an alternate dimension. I don't know. I had weird friends and we made weird jokes. In any case, today we're going to find out what actually happened to them. And also apparently why cows eat snakes. I think this is an older video from Casual Geographic. So it'll be like more than... like two of them put together, I think, as opposed to his more recent videos where it's just one topic for 15 minutes. But that's okay. I'm all right with a slightly more, oh my god. I had a hard drive fall off the computer, so of course it did. It's driving me crazy. Everything that can possibly be going wrong in this last 2 weeks have gone wrong. So, that's been great. It's fine. We drink to forget. Bartender baby. All right. Let's just watch him explain to me some things that I didn't know the answers to and make this day go a little better. Let's go.
Do you ever wonder what happened to those murder hornets? 2020 was like a terrible final season. At one point there was a giant murder hornet storyline that everyone just forgot about. These were highly venomous Asian giant hornets which erase about 30 to 50 names in Japan a year. In 2013 alone, they turned 42 people in the past tense in one Chinese province.
Dang.
And apparently they illegally entered the United States with the first sightings happening in Blaine, Washington towards the end of 2019. Which is kind of a problem because one hornet nearly unsubscribed Cody Peterson from life, so imagine getting jumped by an entire nest. Not only that, but these murder hornets will slaughter entire beehives. So what happened? Well, the Department of Agriculture made it clear that we couldn't give them a chance to establish in America. Basically, the government said it was on site.
Oh, okay.
Hornets that were found were quickly put out of commission for the sake of our way of life.
Dang, okay, I didn't realize that they'd done that. I knew that there's a couple of, like, places where there's certain bugs and, creatures who the government is like, kill them if you see them. There's like a certain type of butterfly, I think, or a moth or some kind of thing like that. In New York, in Pittsburgh. Tell me where they're from, because there's like these weird butterflies that like are super invasive and they're really bad for the ecology. So like everybody in this town, I want to say Pittsburgh, just like goes ham on them whenever they see them.
One nest had allegedly 200 queen hornets before they were put in the
no!
Went to war against hornets, but the thing is, it might not be over. On June 4th, a dead dried hornet was found near Washington State. Now, scientists believe it was an old hornet from last year. But these hornets typically emerge from hibernation in July, and all the homicidal hood flies that we didn't kill off could be returning for a season 2. But two things. One, this murder hornet is actually rarely ever lethal to people. And two, wildlife experts believe it would be impossible for them to become a permanent resident invasive species in America. Okay. Basically, Asian hornets are like TikTok trends or performative activism. A big deal in the moment, but they're overblown and they don't last that long. That being said, they typically reemerge from hibernation in July, so if they are planning to run it back, it's going to be tough for the camps. This episode of Australia is a simulation.
Okay, yeah, so this is going to be a couple of things all put together. This is back in the day when he was this primarily on TikTok. This is going to be interesting. All right, that's okay. And I feel like I've already learned something. So there I go. That means he's done his job.
This cow was caught eating something suspicious. When the worker took a closer look, he realized the cow was slurping a whole ass snake like it was a strand of mom's spaghetti. This wasn't some F-tier garden snake. It was a sand python that got turned into a cow's chew toy. Now, to be fair, cows have always been off. Technically, they're herbivores, but cows have been known to chew on the carcasses of other dead animals in Australia.
And like horses eat birds. Like there's some of these animals out here that we think of as herbivores, but it's like really they'll eat whatever they're in front of them.
Really, that often means dead kangaroos. They'll sometimes even suck on the bones of other cows, but the snake, that was new. Farmers believe they do this because low levels of phosphorus in the soil means less phosphorus for the cows. Not enough phosphorus can cause weaker bones, and for cows it can lead to botulism, which is bad. Phosphorus deficiency can also lead to osteophagia, where an animal like a cow chews or eats the bone of another dead animal. And you thought they were innocent. Nah, they ain't safe either. This cow is low on vitamin P, but instead of taking a supplement, he said it and decided to take a python instead. That sentence makes no sense anywhere else in the world but Australia. Moral of this video, Australia has no food chain, it's a free-for-all.
We finally have to talk about it. Koalas are just dumb. Like, they're literally their own biggest obstacle.
I just want to add to the koala slander real quick because there's one special thing about them that not nearly enough people know. And you know me, I don't really need a reason.
Chlamydia? Is this the John Oliver chlamydia thing, which I only know because of the John Oliver thing?
To put them on blast. So y'all know eucalyptus, right? Now I'm gonna ignore the fact that their entire personality is eating something that nature made abundantly clear is not supposed to be eaten. It's poisonous, hard to chew, and has zero energy, but of course a koala gon' koala. But that's not the problem. The problem is they literally can't even digest the one thing they insist on eating. They need special gut bacteria to break down the toxins of the eucalyptus. And of course an animal that isn't smart enough to understand rain isn't gonna comprehend probiotics. So to get the bacteria and, you know, not starve to death, the baby koala will nuzzle up to the mother in the, you know, this position. The baby will tickle the mother until she releases a green paste called cecum fecal pap.
What?
For months, the baby will eat its mother's poop just so it can spend the rest of its life nerfing itself by eating eucalyptus. Koalas have been around for about 25 million years, yet the best thing they can do is eat and look cute. To be fair, lots of animals do this, but koalas eat just for something that isn't even worth eating in the first place.
Ew, all of that was nasty. All of that was nasty. Oh no, I hated that. Ew. Okay. But we're on something better now. I like watching. I've seen this snake yawn before, and I appreciate this snake. Good evening to this snake alone.
Snakes like the python can actually...
It's just so funny. It's just like... Ah. That was my impression of the snake. I just cracked my jaw really hard, too. Yay. Tell me how that impression was, though, because I've cracked my jaw for it, so it better have been good.
Swallow things bigger than their head. A lot of people think snakes unhinge or dislocate their jaws to do this, but that's not what they do. It's actually weirder. That's because for snakes, the bones in the lower jaw, called the mandibles, aren't connected the same way they are with us. Instead, they're held together by a stretchy ligament. These two jaw bones work independently and can actually spread apart from each other, which you can see here. I really hope Down Bad Mike don't see this. That demonic yawn is how snakes like pythons can deep throat things they honestly have no business even attempting. For reference, if you were built like a python, you'd be able to swallow a whole watermelon without chewing and without using your hands. All thanks to those two.
I feel like that would defeat the point of eating the watermelon. I like how watermelon tastes, yo. Like, I want to eat it. I want to eat the watermelon.
Bones. Because those two jaw bones work on their own, they can slowly inch whatever they're trying to eat towards the back of their throat, basically like walking their jaw over their victim. A snake's mouthpiece is so flexible that the bigger ones like anacondas, boas, and pythons can swallow deer, goats, alligators, and even small cows. If it makes you feel any better, this is an emerald tree boa, and since they're non-venomous, they're basically harmless. Might cost you a few extra sessions of therapy, but I promise you there's worse snakes in your life. You probably dated them. Yeah, whoever designed the shrimp was on LSD. The mantis shrimp just makes no sense as a living animal. Let's talk about it. This shrimp can throw a punch at 50 miles per hour. Not only can they throw hands faster than literally anything else on Earth, the acceleration of the punch is basically the same as getting hit with a 22. Yeah, God gave them the right to bear arms and they act accordingly. Their punch is so quick that it causes a cavitation bubble to form, and when it pops, it's hotter than the surface of the f***ing sun. Built like an underwater pride.
Wait, what about the sun? I'm sorry. Repite, por favor.
So quick that it causes a cavitation bubble to form, and when it pops, it's hotter than the surface of the f***ing sun.
Wow, okay, Jesus.
The mantis shrimp hunts by repeatedly striking the shells of clams, snails, and crustaceans until the shell splits open. It's that in the heat of getting pimp slapped by Lucifer that makes it easy for the mantis shrimp to turn its prey into a prayer. And if it wasn't for the fact that they can shatter aquarium glass, they'd actually be dope pets. Not even the only crazy thing about them. Their eyesight is so advanced that they can see polarized and ultraviolet light that's invisible to us.
Yeah, I knew about, like, we make fun about the shrimp colors all the time. It's like, oh man, I wish I could see the shrimp colors.
And where we have 3 color receptors, God said, why not, and decided to give this shrimp 16. They don't see more colors than we do the way some people think, but each row of photoreceptors is designed to detect a different kind of light. Oh, and they have 360 vision, because nature really pimped out the shrimp for no reason. 10 things you didn't know about the world's grumpiest cat. It's a Pallas cat, and it's basically the snow leopard's little...
So, like, some of these things I've probably seen other videos about pretty recently, and, like, that he's gone into more depth on, so... Some things I kind of already know. Some things I feel like maybe I watched them back in the day when he was doing this on TikTok. Like, and I saw it then. You know, so there's a few things that, like, I might have something new to add that I didn't in another video, but just in case.
Little brother found in the same Central Asian mountain ranges like the Himalayas. They're one of the highest cats on the planet. One Pallas cat was found 18,300 feet in the mountains. That's
Dude, I was like, blaze it.
high as more than 14 Empire State Buildings. It's around that high where your body would start to fall on you because of lack of oxygen.
No
survive
thanks.
being that high because just like snow leopards, or ice tigers if you know you know, they have huge lungs, a powerful heart, and massive nasal cavities to pull in more air. They are massive introverts, and the only way they ever tolerate each other is when they want to make more of themselves. They're so good at surviving where they honestly have no business that when you take them out of the mountains, they actually start to struggle, which is why they're a bad idea for a pet. Also, they're closer to cougars, ocelots, and servals than the other domestic cats. If you try to play him like a pet, he will remind you. Also, you'll probably never see one in his zoo. Nature made them so good at living in the mountains that they literally can't survive anywhere else. And when
Oh,
you take them
wow.
out, they usually get canceled by diseases that they wouldn't have to worry about up in God's attic. No fact here.
I feel like that makes a certain amount of sense. People talk about, like, you know, like, and that's one of the things, totally random, totally off topic, but with time travel, like, you wouldn't necessarily do much better in the olden days or whatever, because, like, diseases that you don't have to worry about because they were, like, immune to them or inoculated against them, or, like, they just ate enough of the bacteria and the food or whatever that they were able to combat it. But now we have all of these medications and stuff that were like, we can't handle certain bacterias anymore, so we would die. And a similar thing with if they came to the future, like, they would probably get sick with something that, like, none of us would have to worry about because they don't have the right antibodies. It's like, we don't have the right antibodies for them, they don't have the right antibodies for us. You were born in the correct time period, don't try and time travel, is the moral of this video somehow.
Think this is cute. They are Pikachu's biggest op. Their favorite food is the Pika that the shock mouse is named after.
Oh.
Google doesn't respect them because if you look up ugly-eared cat, they pop up. 5 sponge facts that might change the way you look at Robert. Most sea sponges are hermaphrodites, making them both male and female at the same time. And
Okay, so that was just a weird, I think that was just a weird cut, and there might have been something in the intro that was not in this video. Okay, Robert. I was like, who's Robert? I'm an idiot.
they don't move, they get it on by either budding or by blasting baby maker onto the ocean, hoping it finds eggs to fertilize. Since they're an easy target for turtles and some fish, most sponges are toxic and use chemical weapons to defend themselves. The Caribbean fire sponge is actually poisonous enough to cause a severe rash to anybody who tries to hold it. Since some of the most toxic chemicals in science
It looks like a flamin' Cheeto.
found in sponges, doing this could put you straight in the ER. These sponges can be used to fight cancer. Russian researchers isolated a compound from a sponge whose name gives me anxiety and synthesized
Phascaplacynopsis? Phascaplacynopsis reticulata.
it, and the result was a substance that killed prostate cancer cells. Starfish eat by ejecting their stomachs out
Yeah,
their
I know.
wrapping it around their prey, digesting it from the outside before retracting the now soupy remains back inside.
Have you seen that, like, comic with, like, evil Patrick, where he's just, like, eating everything? It's absolutely horrific. It was well drawn to the point where it was traumatic.
Why am I telling you this? The starfish eat everything, including, sponges were the first animals, and it's possible they're the sister group to every living animal on Earth.
Oh.
By that I mean a very, very, very long time ago, there was a common ancestor for every animal alive, and sponges were the first to diverge from that ancestor. If that's true, that means for everything. I'm talking about you, your dog, Harambe, that squirrel in your attic you haven't met yet. The sponge is a sister group for all of them. So basically that shirt, that tie, and that thigh gap was the blueprint for life as we know it. The more you know. Phascaplacynopsis reticulata.
Oh, Phascaplacynopsis. I think I said Phascaplacynopsis. All right, well, Phascaplacynopsis reticulata. Is that what he said?
The blueprint for life as we know it. The more you know. Phascaplacynopsis reticulata.
Okay, so I said li, he said lee. Okay.
The other day somebody called me a walking Pokédex, and they're not wrong. That's a European badger. There's about 5 types of badgers, and this little crackhead isn't one of them, because honey badgers aren't true badgers. That family right there has a European badger, the Asian badger, and a Japanese badger. But American badgers are all the way down there. And that's because American badgers aren't even closely related to other badgers. Because when America was fighting for independence, apparently the badger was right there in them trenches.
Okay.
Nah, but for real, even though they're both badgers, they're not even closely related. These guys just look like they have their life together. He works a 9 to 5, picks up his kids from soccer practice, and invites his neighbor over for scones and tea every Tuesday. This dude is a corner store methie that swings broken beer bottles at anyone that makes eye contact. But they're pretty similar. American badgers will work with coyotes to hunt, and the Europeans will squat up with foxes. They're both carnivores, but they'll eat anything that fits in their mouth. And both give 0 because where Americans will square up with bobcats, cougars, and sometimes grizzlies, Europeans will step to wolves, lynxes, and sometimes brown bears.
Dang.
They also stab pad with one badger murking an entire chicken coop. Sometimes European badgers will break into beehives and eat honeycombs while actively being stung by hundreds of bees. And I was not kidding about American badgers stepping to grizzly bears. They usually get clapped, but an effort was made and I respect that. Moral of this video, badgers are wolverines with short person syndrome, and I fucking love them for it. 3 animals that are way stronger than society taught you. First we have swans, because these pond pigeons are what geese think they are. Because where geese are all talk, swans can actually do damage. Not only can they allegedly break your arms with their wings,
Yeah, that is the look of a face of a man who is seeing his life flash before his eyes. Cypros are on point, though.
One took a man's life by drowning him. They've also murked dogs by beating them to death with those wings. You could try to humble a swan by grabbing its neck, but you're still risking your entire way of life if this hell Tweety goes for your eyes. The biggest swan is the mute swan, which can weigh over 30 pounds. They're everything geese are on steroids. This is Patrick the Wombat. Wombats are keg barrels with legs. Wombat booties are reinforced with cartilage and fat, so if this furry bowling ball rear ends you, it could actually break your leg. They're so sturdy that they can put your car out of commission and sometimes even launch you off the road. Cause hitting a wombat's like hitting a curb with the face. Not to mention they defend themselves by running to their burrow and then use
That's my wombat face. I've been doing all sorts of animal impressions this episode. Y'all are welcome for the beauty. Oh my god, somebody has screenshotted at least 2 of those, haven't they? Maybe I'll screenshot one of them and it'll be on my thumbnail so then you can't even, like, use it against me. Maybe I'll do that. Yes. Probably. That's what's gonna happen. It's fine. It's fine.
Using their backside to crush the skull of a predator against the roof of their burrow. And last we have donkeys. Eeyore ain't a bitch, he really bout that. Donkeys will not only delete a coyote, but they've been known to play with their corpse like a rag doll. If you're a rancher, you're better off trading your shotgun for a donkey, because you don't have to load a donkey. Because they're black Air Force horses.
You do have to feed a donkey a lot, though, don't... I guess they could eat the grass. I guess that'd be fine.
There's a reason this homicidal barcode is more badass than horse. The 7 deadly sins, but because I am the way I am, represented as animals.
Okay.
Envy's definitely the common house sparrow, because if she finds out her mate's been cheating on her, she'll proceed to butcher and abort the chicks he had with another female.
Dang.
Why do y'all go after everyone but the actual cheater? I don't get it. Lust is definitely the anti-kindness, because he won't stop spreading his seed until his immune system shuts down, his body disintegrates, and bro just becomes past tense.
Dang.
Bro really experiences post-nut clarity in the afterlife. Gluttony is the Argentinian wide-mouthed frog because they never stop eating. The only way this kamikaze stops is if it either chokes to death or literally tears its stomach open. These frogs will die trying to swallow something physically bigger than they are. Wrath is no one else but the hippo, because every year they RSV at least 500 people to Heaven's house party in Africa alone. And let's be real, the number's probably higher, we just haven't found the bodies yet. Sloth is a sloth because that just makes sense. Pride is a peacock because being a show-off helps them bag a female, but it also helps them get bagged by a tiger. Those feathers make it harder for them to fly and impossible to see behind themselves, which is why its biggest flex often gets it buried. And greed is a Tasmanian devil because they can shove 40% of their body weight down their throat and they'll eat so much that they can't walk afterwards. 40% would be like the average man scarfing 140 burgers in 30 minutes. The more you know. Let's talk about the blobfish.
Yikes.
This is what they actually look like. It's just that they live up to 4,000 feet below the surface at the bottom of the ocean. That's almost 3 Empire State Buildings. It's only when you drag them to the surface that they look like a deformed Kirby with a botched nose job. For those of you that try to slander my baby, this is what you'd look like if you had to
Why?
If a normal fish lived that deep, its swim bladder would get forced out of its mouth and it would fold to water pressure. But the blobby has no swim bladder, no bones, and basically zero muscle, which is why they can handle more pressure than a college student with immigrant parents. I would know. Basically, by being built like gelatin, the blobfish uses water pressure as its structural support, which goes away if you bring them up to the surface. The blobfish only has one natural predator. Unfortunately, it's one of the most dangerous things alive. That's right, we are the biggest threat to a blobby's way of life since they can get caught in trawling nets.
I was like, is the dark?
And die.
It was a
Now,
mirror.
we don't know a whole lot about them since they live in Satan's basement, but some scientists believe there's less than 500 of them left in the world.
Dang.
Either that or they're elite at hiding and we're just bad at seeking. Anyway, they can handle 120 times more pressure than we gotta deal with, so y'all gonna stop slandering my blobfish. You can slander him, though.
Yeah, okay, I'll slander whatever that monster was. Alright. Alright, well that was, fun. It's been a while since I've done like a rapid fire one like that. I feel like I've done at least one before. I was like, but and maybe I just watched at least one in the past. But it was a fun little rapid fire Casual Geographic compilation. So I appreciated that. I thought that was fun. I hope you did too. We will probably go return to form. Like I said, this was an older video. We'll probably return to form later. But like I said, things have been kind of stressful. So well, shorter video is better right now, just until I can get things properly working again. So thank you all so much for your patience. Thanks for helping me out and being patient with me. I said that twice. Don't be too mean in the screenshots, because at least I can sense at least one of them coming. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.